Just because you're rich and famous doesn't mean you know how to renew a domain name registration, which is exactly what happened to Leonardo DiCaprio in the case I'm talking about today. But the case is relevant to everyone, not just leading Hollywood actors, because we all forget important things eventually. Now, I've helped my clients out of similar situations, so let me explain what happened here and how Leonardo DiCaprio was able to use the UDRP, the Uniform Domain Name Dispute Resolution Policy, to recover his domain name. So this case involves the domain name leonardodicaprio.org, which the actor apparently registered in 1998. DiCaprio is well known for movies such as The Wolf of Wall Street, Inception, The Departed, and of course, Titanic.
I'm the king of the world!
According to screenshots from the Internet Archive's Wayback Machine, the actor used the domain name leonardodicaprio.org in connection with a website for the Leonardo DiCaprio Foundation. However, DiCaprio, or rather probably whoever was managing or supposed to be managing the domain name and website for him, failed to renew the domain name when it expired on August 22, 2022. Now, that detail comes from a decision in the UDRP case that the actor initiated at the forum on January 4th, 2023. It's unclear why DiCaprio waited more than 4 months to file the UDRP complaint, but it's possible that he just didn't realize the lapse until the domain name was actually picked up by someone else. And by then, it seems as if the mistake was pretty obvious. That's because, according to the UDRP decision, the new registrant of leonardodicaprio.org started using it in various ways, such as to resolve to a gambling site, a pay-per-click site, a blog about philosophy, and what was described as the unofficial fan site of Leonardo DiCaprio. Now, fortunately for the actor, he won his UDRP case and received a decision dated February 3rd, 2023, ordering transfer of the domain name to him. And it really was not a difficult case for him to win. But as I said at the outset, the reason I find the case interesting, and the reason others should be interested in it too, is because of what the decision says about failing to renew a domain name. So here's what the decision says when discussing the impact of the actor's failure to renew leonardodicaprio.org on the third element of the UDRP, which requires a complainant like DiCaprio to prove that a domain name was registered and is being used in bad faith. A complainant's prior ownership of a disputed domain name can indicate an act of opportunistic bad faith, where it is shown that the respondent knew of the asserted mark. Here, complainant provides evidence of its long-standing previous ownership of the disputed domain name, which is based on its famous mark, and mentions that it inadvertently expired, although it does not provide further details on how this happened. Viewed against all of the other circumstances of this case, the panel here finds further support for its conclusion that respondent registered and uses the disputed domain name in bad faith per policy paragraph 4A3. So this finding is consistent with what's set out in the WIPO overview, which says in section 3.2.1 that a complainant's failure to renew its domain name registration is a circumstance that a panel may take into account in assessing whether the respondent's registration of a domain name is in bad faith. In other words, the panel in this case found that DiCaprio's previous registration of the domain name was relevant to a finding of bad faith, but it was not sufficient by itself to find bad faith. And that's important for every domain name registrant to remember, because it means that recovering an expired domain name under the UDRP is not guaranteed. Now, fortunately, maintaining a domain name registration is a simple thing to do, but it's also simple to overlook. In fact, it seems as if leonardodicaprio.org might not be the only domain name that the actor forgot to renew. A blog post in November 2022 reported that leonardodicaprio.com had expired the previous month. And although an update to the blog said it was renewed for 10 years, there's no website associated with the domain name as of this recording, so it's unclear to me what may have happened. Now, this all might seem like sloppy domain name management, but it's happened to plenty of other trademark owners of all sizes. In fact, Microsoft reportedly failed to renew its hotmail.co.uk domain name almost 20 years ago. A major bank once supposedly did the same thing, and so did the Dallas Cowboys football team. And as I said earlier, I've rescued clients from the same situation, including, by the way, a singer who found her domain name being used in connection with a pornographic website after she failed to renew it. Fortunately, while renewing a domain name is a lot easier than recovering it, as the Leonardo DiCaprio case shows, under the right circumstances, the UDRP can help a trademark owner rescue itself online. If you want to learn more about the UDRP, please check out my masterclass on domain name disputes, as well as other resources on my Gigalaw website. And be sure to subscribe to the Gigalaw YouTube channel to be notified of future videos discussing other internet legal issues. Thanks for watching, and see you next time online.